And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, Gungans, Droids, Kiata, Mundi, Coneheads, and all you crash dummies out there. Yeah, that's you and me. Welcome to today's video where I'm fresh out the shower, I'm feeling good, and hopefully you guys are feeling good this weekend because CG has responded to our lovely feedback on Relic Delta, and it seems like in some situations we're going the wrong way. I don't know what's going on with this Relic Delta stuff. Come on over, people. I hope your weekends are going well at the very minimum. This is the most controversial thing in Star Wars Galaxy Heroes, Relic Delta, and I'll give you like the quick 5-second summary in a moment. But the best way I've been describing this situation is it feels like, you know, we're all having a good time. We're in the car. We're singing Farm Scrap Upgrades. CG's at the wheel. We're having a good time playing Galaxy Heroes. I think Galaxy Heroes is like, hey, you know what'd be fun? What if I just go 95 miles per hour and I crash into the wall? And we're like, whoa, we don't need to do that. And then they're like, wait, but that's gonna make this more fun and interesting. No, we don't need to crash into the wall. All right, and then now they're like, all right, what about 66 miles an hour? We'll crash into the wall. That's what it feels like. It feels like we're negotiating how hard we as a community want to crash this lovely vehicle of Galaxy of Heroes into the wall. So, real quick, Relic Delta, for those that may have missed it. New feature coming to Galaxy Heroes. It's not a Relic 10. Essentially, what it's looking at is the Delta, the difference between your character's Relic and opposing character's Relic. Well, the first iteration of this, and as we're going to show, we have a bunch of feedback and notes that they provided us after the initial run of feedback you guys gave them. Essentially, the greater the difference between your one character and another character in Relic levels, the more damage reduction and increases would happen here, up to a maximum of 4 Relic levels, and now they're expanding it to 5 Relic level differences. So needless to say, people weren't too excited about their characters all of a sudden hitting 95% less, and they're gonna get hit 95% more. Well, here's what CG said. So we're gonna go over this little graphic in a moment. I wanna make sure I give you the context so you understand what this is about here. They provided this little document to the playtesters. I wanna share it with you guys, and I will also share with you because they did something really weird with this data. I actually don't really know what they're trying to get across. I mean, I know what they're trying to do, but like, it's a weird subset of data they're providing. And you're gonna see my responses. We got some good news, but it's hard to quantify the good news here. So let's start from the top to get the full context. Here's some information we believe will be helpful for you while you test, as well as information you can share with your communities. As a reminder, if you have any questions, yeah, and I shared my questions here. First off, so this is to all you guys, thank you for the initial round of feedback. We understand that the initial number shock of 20, 45, 75, 95 did not go over well with your communities. Wow. You really needed a crystal ball for that one. They said this was expected. Okay. We had a feeling this was going to be kind of like a Sonic the Hedgehog controversy type of thing, or, you know, 400 bajillion% tariffs and you come down to 100%. I don't know. Whatever analogy you want to use. We knew the numbers were high, but we need to test them for an analytical perspective so we can define boundaries. We don't need any boundaries. Just get rid of it. Just let's keep it simple. So here's what they said. From our data, this is where things get really weird. And this is how they're essentially justifying that we need this. It's not that big of a deal, guys. Basically saying you guys are a bunch of whiners is the way I'm kind of interpreting this, including me, right? From our data prior to your playtest, here are the numbers we're seeing for the current meta. All right. For the following data, and this is very vague as I'm going to bring up with my questions, and hopefully they respond to them. We looked at battles where the average Relic level on the attacking squad was less than the average Relic level on the defending squad. Already got 20 problems with that. While this is not reflective of cases where a single character in a squad has 2 to 4 Relic levels below the rest of the battle, it captures the quote-unquote general investment level. Again, a lot of problems with that. And smooths out the unevenness of Relic distribution across squads as seen by Relic 9, primarily going on tanks so far. It also points out that players wouldn't need to bring an entire squad up multiple Relic levels as they have already invested more into the same members of that squad. So here are the numbers that they provided us. Of all the GAC battles in the last 30 days, we see the following. Attacker 5 levels below Defender, apparently 0.014%. Attacker 4 levels below Defender, 0.074%. Attacker 3 levels below Defender, 0.21%. Attacker 2 levels below Defender is 0.1%. And Attacker 1 level below Defender is 1.8%. So they're saying the total of Attacker average being below Defender average, 3.1%. So I have a bunch of questions in regards to this, because it's like, what are you trying to say except trying to maybe cherry pick data, make up, a scenario where it's like, guys, this isn't that big of a deal. That's what I'm getting from this, and we're gonna go over my questions in a moment. And again, if you guys have stuff on this, put it down below in the comments. I know CG, they're looking at everything from Reddit to the YouTube videos to Discord. You know the drill at this point. So now there's a new test going on. It's gonna be for Grand Arena, 5v5 Omicron's enabled, and also no datacrons though. They don't want the datacrons being a part of this, and that's gonna make this even worse in a lot of situations out there. So here are the changes that they're making from 95% for incoming, outgoing damage. And I'm just gonna pull up the graphic. It makes it a little bit easier to see what they are trying to convey here. So they show you the initial test and now the new variation that they're testing. So a few things to note. First and foremost, they're now expanding it to 5 relic level difference. So up 4, down 4, instead of 4 like it was before. So it's 5 instead of 4. So before there was no difference for being 5 relic levels below. So now at this new test, you're going to be at a 66% damage penalty if you're 5 relic level differences away. So Relic 7 versus Relic 2, or for example, Relic 9 versus Relic 4, right? Whatever the difference is there. Some people misinterpret thinking that this is like a Relic 10 or it has to be Relic 9. No, it doesn't matter. It could be Relic 0 versus Relic 5, Relic 6, something like that. So the good news is here, there's no longer a 95% damage penalty. Whether it's a 4 relic difference, 5 relic difference, the maximum is minus 66%. Still a big chunk of problems going on there. And then so if you're at minus 4, now it's minus 50% of damage and incoming and outgoing. And outgoing, and you're gonna get 50% more incoming here. And then if you're at minus 3, it's now 33% reduction, minus 2, 17% reduction. And if you're only 1 relic difference off, 10%. If you are equal relics, so Relic 7 versus Relic 7, Relic 8 versus 8, 9, 9, you're gonna get 0%, no change there. So now looking at the other way around, if you're at an advantage or your enemy's at an advantage by 1 relic level difference, it's 10%, 2 relics, 20%, 3 is 50% damage increase, 4 is gonna be 100%. And if you're a 5 relic level difference, let's say you have a Relic 9 and you're fighting a Relic 4, 200% damage. Yeah, that's a lot. Or let's put it this way. Let's say you're fighting someone with Relic 9 and they're attacking you. They're going to hit you 200% harder. So yes, the upside is you're no longer basically losing all of your damage at 95%. The most you're going to lose, 66%, but again, doesn't feel good. Again, this is a feature that's not needed for this game. It's just not. There are way better ways to make your game better than this. It's super lazy, inconvenient, and kills the spirit of the game. Period. End of story. It's just not needed. So you guys can kind of talk about this. In my opinion, again, I feel like I'm negotiating with the driver. Like, hey, can we not crash into the wall at all? And they're like, the best I can do is 66 miles an hour. It's like, we don't need to do that. We just don't. Let me go on. There's some good news in this post here. So, actually, let me read this first. While the increase from 95% to 200% may look like we're tone deaf, you are. You're at least you're reading the room. You are. This is actually updating the system to bring parity between the increase and the decreased values. No, you're still tone deaf. I'm sorry to say. You just said it is. We thought it made more sense when splitting out the increase and decrease values to make them inverse of each other. But as always, we'd love to hear your feedback. So here's their example. If you would take 100 damage, but the attacker's 5 relic levels below you, you now only take 34 damage. In that same scenario, you would deal 34 damage to that enemy. You now deal 102 damage. So, okay. Before we get to my questions, here are some good news. Allegedly, how much? I don't know. But they're going to be doing a change to the relic material inflow to make it, I guess, a little bit easier to upgrade stuff. How much? Is it like 1 Erodium heatsink a month? Not going to do anything. We need huge changes to get to that Relic 8, 9 levels especially. Even getting to Relic 7 to be a little bit easier too. We saw players ask about relic material acquisition, and we could say that with the introduction of this feature, the ability to obtain relic levels is being adjusted and will allow you to acquire them at a more frequent basis. What does that mean? 1%? That is technically more frequent, so I don't know what that means. While we don't have any information on the exact numbers, this is the expectation from our side. Again, means that it's good they're doing something, but it means nothing to you right now to make you be like, oh yeah, this isn't a big deal at all. It doesn't really help me out, you out. Here's some good news, how this will affect Conquest. Big concern. When you get to the what's called Sector 5, usually the enemies are like Relic 8, and if you're fighting with Relic 5, well, you're gonna have a hard time with especially those previous numbers from before. Still gonna have an issue even with the new numbers. We know there were quite a few questions around Conquest. There was some information we wanted to share with you in your community. So something I, recommend is like, maybe if you had to do this, you had to. You don't have to, but in their mind, they have to. Maybe you adjust the difficulty or the severity of Relic Delta. So they're doing something I think probably better than that. While Conquest currently uses Relic levels, we plan to reduce the Relic level of each Conquest difficulty to the below values. This may be accompanied by an increase of in the base stats of each unit. So they're still gonna make. I don't know. This is just so unnecessary. Anyways, this is not a definite value this time. So keep in mind, this is not permanent. So there's no changes for easy difficulty. I'm just gonna go straight to hard difficulty. So now in Sector 1, they're gonna be Relic 4, and then Sectors 2 through 5, Relic 5 throughout. So basically, Relic Delta is not gonna kick in as severely as we were expecting with the previous system when they were at Relic 8. So everything's gonna be Relic 5 to hopefully minimize the impact of Relic Delta in that mode. But they're increasing the difficulty stats of the character. So does that mean the characters are gonna be even faster now? It's like, oh man, it's just, why you're making this so difficult? And as I said before, none of these changes to Conquest will occur until after the Stranger cycle is complete. So we're next week, actually tomorrow, I think we're starting the last round of Miles Canon. I think it's tomorrow, next week, I don't know. Point being is, it seems like this Relic Delta is going to be arriving sometime in a month whenever Khmer, the Stranger's Conquest cycle, is going to be booting up here. So it's a bit unfortunate. I'm hoping, again, we move away. We jump off this train that they're on here and just like, let's stop this. So here are my response and questions. I sent this on Friday. Didn't get a response. That's fine. I'm assuming, weekend, you're going to get around to. I just want to share you my thoughts on this here. So I said straight up, I would like to understand the data more that was compiled about Attacker versus Defender Relics. And here's the thing. I know a lot of you guys know this. It's very easy to try to find, I guess, the story you're trying to tell from data, whether from and you can manipulate this in a way from how you collect the data, right? Or whatever the data output shows. You can kind of twist the story or kind of cherry pick things and kind of spin it, right? It's very easy to spin data. At the end of the day, I know you guys understand this. Let me give you an example. 100% of people agree that I'm the best. And you might be like, who are those people you sample? Me, myself, and I, right? It's kind of, that's as simple of an example I can give you, right? So my first main question was, what was the base of this data? So they talked about all of Grand Arena, and I assume that's what they're doing here. It's kind of like going to SWGoH.gg when you're looking for a counter. The second you kind of filter, especially like for datacrons, that essentially weeds out all like basically from Erodium, even some of the lower echelons of Kyber and below. Because if I'm fighting a team with datacron, it doesn't help me to see that same battle versus a non-datacron. It's kind of one of those things where, what are they looking at? Are they looking at Carbonite? Yeah, there's probably not going to be as big of a difference between those characters or the teams that are fighting. Bronzium, even Chromium, probably. I mean, yes, matchmaking is a problem. You still see big accounts in those areas, but I'm making an assumption that people are more similarly related to an extent in those lower grand tiers versus the higher tiers. I'm speaking from experience where my now just crossed 8 million GP doing a Relic 9 Rose Tico, totally for Relic Delta. I'm like always fighting 11, 12, 13, 14 million GP accounts, and the average Relic levels are like always higher. I rarely am equal to or above the Relic levels that I'm facing. So I want to know what, I think we need to really narrow the subset of the data. And also, that's what I said this right here. This is going to be an issue for Kyber players, and we've seen this before. When the new matchmaking happened and they did a Kyber squish, accounts like mine that at the time were like 5 million. I was at Kyber too, like 4 million, something crazy like that. It got kicked out because of Kyber squish. It's, again, not saying that not everyone matters, but it's like in terms of the competitive aspect, we're looking at Kyber and even Erodium, because all those Kyber players will get kicked into Erodium, which those Erodium players will then get kicked down to Chromium, and you can kind of see what happens. So it really starts at the top and it trickles down all the way below, right, from those tiers. So, like datacrons, exactly. I said the same thing. Datacrons. Datacrons are mostly a Kyber issue. Not as, yes, they show up in Erodium, Chromium, but not nearly as much, right? So, and I said the same thing. I don't know if people really care as much about the data from Carbonite and Bronze and Grand Arenas. And I gave my personal anecdotal experience as well. And, kind of as I say here, I know this will kick my account out of Kyber and many others that are similar. It is penalizing strategy and skill, plain and simple. Although I guess to kind of call myself out of it, if you only have a couple Relic 9s, it's going to require some strategy to, how do I use my Relic 9 Rose Tico to solo teams? I don't know. So, and this is where now I kind of get to more of the specifics of the data. They talk about this Relic average. How is this even calculated? Is it a simple average just across all the 5 characters? Because you can easily kind of skew those numbers, right? I say this, you can have one Relic 9 tank and spike the numbers and make it seem like the defender team is way stronger when it's not. And I kind of explained this. Stats don't give you the full context, right? You know, averages can lie at the end of the day. That's why some people look at averages and median, right? Those are two important things to look at. And I give an example here. A team of 55559 isn't the same as 7777. It's as simple as that. You can kind of do a bunch of different numbers. You can do like some 9s and relic 0s and all 5s and all relic 7s and a 1. There's a lot of ways to look at it. Just telling me that only 3% of the time people are fighting at a relic deficit doesn't really help me out at all. I don't know the context of these numbers here. Furthermore, why not show the win rates when relics are equal or higher? They're only showing the one side of the equation. What's the win rate when the attacker relics are equal or higher by 1 or 2? Without that, this data, it also just has no baseline. The other big thing here, what about Datacrons, Galactic Legends, Omicrons? What does it tell? This doesn't tell me anything. This is everything all the way down to someone doing maybe, I don't know, Coruscant Underworld Police with their Relic 9, trying to bait out a cooldown. What does this mean? If you're not filtering those, this whole data set, it's going to be skewed. A lot of Relic punch-ups are probably coming from teams that have strong mechanics. Look at Zori. Just the other day, I defeated Pirate King Hondo Naka inside a Grand Arena with Zori, right? And I was at a massive Relic difference. The reason why I'm doing that battle isn't because I'm like, oh, I'm 4 Relic levels lower. I'm doing it because strategy, skill, the modding, the Omicrons, just the overall, core of the team. That's why I'm doing it. That's why people do those punch-ups. It's because these teams are pretty good if you know how to use them and mod them appropriately here. So, as I say, a lot of punch-up wins are probably coming from teams with strong mechanics or even Datacron combos, not Relic levels alone. Again, a big flaw of this data that they're trying to kind of spin for us here. And then at the end of the day, let's just give them the benefit of the doubt. Let's just say no issues with the data at all. It's bulletproof. CG is infinite wisdom. Aren't they, or they're solving a problem that's already self-correcting, or it's not really there? Again, they're saying that on average, there's only 3% of battles where the attacker is lower than the defender average. And again, a lot of problems of what is average and a variety of other things. Why do we need this? And if only in 3% of situations this is the case, it doesn't make sense. You're wasting time. You're wasting resources. If players are already avoiding punch-ups due to relic gaps, which is not really the case. Why do we need a system that further punishes them? It feels like a straight up overcorrection. What happens to theory crafting, off meta counter? Some of the most fun in this game is finding a way to beat a stronger team with mod, speed, synergy. If Relic Delta wipes out, this game just becomes a relic check, not a strategy game. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. And I kind of threw this last point. I think I talked about this with you guys several times. I don't think Capital Games maybe understands this. They're like trying to do some weird analytical stuff. And I don't know if I even agree with how they're coming across the data. And I hope this week maybe they give some more clarity on this data. Maybe they refine, retune, I don't know, repurpose their data that they're trying to convey to us. This game, it's got a massive social element to it. Let me put it plain and simply. The other day, as I said, I used Zori to beat Hondo. And people are like, oh, that's cool. I'm going to do that. Or people are going to be like, oh, that's a problem. I'm going to try something to stop that. Or I'm streaming. I'm like, I'm going to use this counter. And someone's like, no, Arnold, you should try this. I'm like, really, that? And I try. I'm like, holy cow, that's awesome. Massive social element that comes around with that. All of a sudden, when you just do this, it doesn't help me. It's already bad enough Datacrons kind of shattered this a bit with this relatability between, I look at my 2 accounts. One account maybe has 2 Datacrons. Not like I have much on the other. I got maybe 9, 10, maybe on the other account. Sometimes it's hard to convey the counters music on my main account to my free-to-play account and vice versa because of Datacrons. This is just going to completely demolish that. How are you guys going to look at a new team and be like, wow, this team's amazing, but I use full Relic 9? Or wow, this team is trash, but I'm using Relic 5 fighting Relic 9. It's going to obliterate that. And that is honestly, I don't know, maybe even more so important than strategies. It's the social element of this game. The community is what made this game stay around. And it's very tiring to see that CG is essentially, in my opinion, kind of abusing the goodwill of the community. Their community is the pillar, the foundation of this game. It should begin and end with what the community wants. This is not something the community wants. I've talked to people of a variety of spending level, backgrounds. I haven't seen anyone make any positive. The only positive thing you could say is, what if Relic 9 Wampa could do what Wampa Datacron does? But it's because it's dogging on under-geared Relic characters. Again, you could try to find that silver lining if you really wanted to. At the end of the day, this isn't needed. Plain and simply. It feels weird, like negotiating how fast I want to crash into the wall with them behind the wheel. Just go around the wall. We don't need to crash into it. Disappointing. And going back to that social element thing, one other thing, it's going to be a massive pain. Territory Wars is already in shambles. You got to add something new for PvP content. Maybe come back to this later. It's already a pain getting everyone to participate in your very oddly structured Territory War attack cycle. And you need them to have already the right teams, decent relics, the Omicrons, the mods, and gosh forbid, get everybody in the guild to have a Datacron with similar levels, preferably stats on top of it. Already a nightmare. What the heck is going to go on when not everyone has Relic 9, Relic 8 teams? It's going to make territories even a bigger struggle to coordinate. You got to make changes before you do stuff like this. You know, maybe down the road you can, argue after you do the Relic material inflow changes, after you fix your Grand Arena territory war problems, then maybe come back to, or do this, maybe just roll it out for PvE. And again, I have concerns with that too, but I guess on the upside, if you're bringing like a Relic 8 team into territory battles in the first wave, you're going to blitz through them. So again, you can find that silver lining to make things feel a little bit better, but especially the PvP side. This is a danger. They're playing a fire, big fire that's happening right now. Anyways, them be the notes, my friend. Let me know your thoughts. Maybe there's more questions on top of this. This is mostly just kind of talking about their data because essentially they're trying to tell us we're crazy. This isn't a problem. You guys are blowing this out of proportion. And there are just so many assumptions being made that I don't know what's going on. All right, people. That's all for today. Oh, man. We'll see how this week goes. I'm assuming the conversation for this is going on. I want to just, again, make it clear. It's nice that they're at least asking for the community's feedback and not just dropping it on us out of nowhere. That would have been a big, big problem. But again, at the end of the day, we're just negotiating how tough, how rough do we want it when we crash into the wall? How about none? Leave that like, comment down below, subscribe so you're not missing a thing. And always remember, well, at least over here, it's great to be in the Empire today.
It's great to be in the Empire.